Hey guys, Monstrosity just put out a new single called The Colossal Rage. If you follow this channel, you'll remember that I did a video that talked about the Millennium record, which is actually one of my favorite metal albums of all time. I followed the band as they released records after that, and In Dark Purity, despite a lot of people liking it, really disappointed me. I thought it was much more streamlined. It had some good songs on it, but nothing that I would probably reach for a whole lot. Then after that, they kind of became a band that I forgot existed until they put out a record here and there, and I would give a track a listen to, and then that was it. It never really resonated as much as Millennium did at all, and they just kind of became a band that didn't really have much of an identity, which I kind of expect for a band with this many lineup shifts. I know that it's Lee Harrison's band. I don't know if he writes the music. I don't know if it's like a Steve Ashim Deicide situation. But with each release after Millennium, there was less and less to denote an actual band identity. And I forgot about the band again until I saw this single drop today, and didn't realize that it had been like 7 years since the last record, which is kind of a testament to how much they matter in the current metal landscape. But I gave it a listen, and every time I click on a Monstrosity song, I do have high hopes because of Millennium. This is not Millennium, and I shouldn't have expected it to be. What it is it just sounds like metal. It doesn't sound like death metal. It doesn't sound like thrash metal. It sounds like metal. Like if I were to, this is what I imagine a non-metal listener thinks metal sounds like. It's just a generic, like the static sound of distorted guitars and occasionally fast drums. This is what I think of when I imagine a normie just imagines what metal sounds like. This is as if I don't know if you guys have ever played like a wrestling video game, but when they do create a wrestler and it's a super generic dude that has a couple of moves. The Monstrosity is the creator wrestler now of metal bands. I really struggled to find anything in this song that had any sense of vitality to it. I get it; they're long in the tooth, but you at this stage of the game, show me that you want to step up to the plate. You got to give a reason for your own existence. Kind of said the same thing about Immolation. As for the lineup, I was surprised to see that Mark Van Erp is back in the band. Well, legendary bass player, doesn't really matter on this track, nothing of note. Um, this is a lot more in line. If you were to tell me that this was a Lamb of God song, I would honestly believe you. This to me has more to do with what they called when it kind of boomed in the early 2000s, like it's like a new order of American heavy metal, like bands like Shadows Fall and Lamb of God, and later Silosis, which it's all metalcore, but with like a little bit more of a traditional metal slant to it. That's what this sounds like. There's no tooth to it. There's no menace. It's just metal. It's just generic metal. Something you should never say for a band that has put out a record like Millennium. I listened to Imperial Doom today to get that taste out of my mouth, and the energy for that record. It's just so much. There's just so much more to it than what you have here. And I get it; they're going to be going through the motions a little bit. It's expected, but I don't know. I don't. Usually, when I hear a single from a band that's been out this long, it makes me want to listen to the rest of the record, like with Immolation, even if I find the single to be disappointing. But in the case of Immolation, that still sounded like Immolation. This one, it could be literally anyone. It reminds me also of like post Litany Vader. It's just very very streamlined. It just sounds like metal. I don't know how else to describe it. I would rather they sounded like Monstrosity, and it shouldn't be too much to ask, but it seems like it is at this stage of the game. I did say before when I talked about Millennium that was more, to my ears, a progressive excuse me, a progressive thrash metal record than a death metal record, and I still do feel that way. To me, that has more in line with a band like Hellwitch than your your contemporary or even older death metal bands. But this has the thrash elements that you're going to hear in bands like Lamb of God and Silosis and all that shit that the kids like, and it just feels like it's there to be there. I don't know, disappointing to say the least, but it's good to know they're still kicking. I like seeing the legacy band still doing something. It just disappoints me that there is so little to it. This is the type of song where that won't make me want to even check out the record. But let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of you guys like this band too, so maybe you found more here than I did. But this was a pretty big miss for me. That's about all I have to say about that. Thank you again for listening.